Welcome. Happy Tuesday. So happy to be next to Irina. Helps me know that it is Tuesday, sometimes Thursday. Mary Gooden, CEO and founder of Divine Destiny Mentoring and Publishing, alongside my favorite co-pilot, who is walking alongside in our multi-author or collaborative books section. And today we're going to go on to week 4, which is really, again, I think we talked about this last week a little bit too, but using your story to secure your authorship, to put yourself in the top 2% of the population by no mistake, right? When we finally start to see our life experiences as the gift that helps us create the impact. Again, this is a belief system, Mindmunder, but that my heart came here to create, to stand in something powerful and know that I walked through the fire of life, my circumstances, the arrival of our greater becoming, when we can look back and say, thank God I made it through. Those kind of stories, I don't believe they're meant to be hidden inside of us until the day we transition. What do you think, Irina?
You're right. Even before written word, we used to connect with one another by sharing stories, sharing our experiences and things about. And if we have come through a difficult chapter in our life, we can shorten somebody else's journey by sharing our experiences and wisdom, what we were able to overcome. And maybe we learned something along the way that is worth sharing. And that's what sharing stories is all about. We all have different stories to tell. We live the life. We are not just one person, let's say, who just went to work. And our work is not just one definition of who we are. We have so many dimensions of ourselves throughout our life. And when you think about it, you can see different views, different experiences you learn along the way with who you are today. And we're always continuously evolving. Our identity is changing. Our values are changing. And the stories and things that tools we learn along the way are worth sharing.
Yeah, I feel like it's the unspoken word of reality is because if we don't share them, right, if we're hiding in them, we carry those bits of guilt and shame and whatever came with that story. We hold them inside of us, and we never get an opportunity to release and receive from some of the most biggest evolutionary activations. That's what I think stories are. I've told this probably already through our series, but I deeply believe that my 25-year forever that I shared in the book Phoenix, the only reason all that happened to me is so that I could exclaim a yes to this book, so that I could step into the next version of what God, source, divine, what the human experience had for me. And that's the only reason it happened, right? It's not even, it's not even about anything other than, thank God I had a story to share so I could receive myself and be in my most authentic version and vibration, which is, complete opposite, I think, of what we think. Right? So Irina shared also, you have a 12-step, part of your 12-step journey, of your becoming, completely transform your life too, right? What if I didn't have any of that to share? Or what if I was still holding on to it inside of me and letting it create this disruption, this idea that I'm not good enough, this idea that I'm not smart enough, this idea that nobody's going to like me, or all the things that come with that, especially for entrepreneurs and business ownership. I'll tell you, when I look at more confident entrepreneurs, and I'll speak to business right here in this, like when I see people that are easily converting, it's because they're in their most authentic self. And 99.9% of the time, it's because they've either shared their story in a book or on a stage. And they've cleared it. I love the balloons. I mean, you can't make this shit up. But this is what we're talking about. There's a story inside it. We all have one. We all have one. And I think one of the biggest part of our programs or belief systems in this experience we're in right now is you better not tell anybody the worst of your worst. You better just lock that tight and take it to the grave. And, you know, in that, taking it to the grave, like, then what happens if you believe in reincarnation? So I'm going to go all over the place, but then what happens? You reincarnate with that trauma still inside of you as a soul? We're going to get deep here, or I'm going to stop right there. You never know. So go ahead, Irina.
It takes courage to share your story. Just like you said, there is a lot of shame and there is a lot of things we think we're alone on and the journey that we're on, but we're never really alone. And it takes, and I love how you said, do you want to pass it on to other generations? I think that's the big one. When we allow ourselves to be the person who stops the trauma, who stops the passing of the garbage to the next person, when we can stop and end there, I think that's the best tool. And it's not only helping your generation, it's also helping you heal, it helping you reevaluate and see the tools. I love how you say, you know, on the days when stuff feels like it's not working out, go back to your own medicine, go back and read your book. I love your let it be easy, let it be fun. I think it's so necessary in day-to-day living, and it can support in times of trouble, and it can help make things easy. And it doesn't have to be so difficult, because oftentimes we always associate everything with difficulties and hardships. And by sharing a medicine, we can ease the journey of those who read it, and we ease our own journey.
Yeah. The depth of that too is that in that process, and you might relate to this too, just what came through me is it's making the choice to reveal the story from a perspective of a new perspective of I'm sharing my story not to be the victim of it anymore, but to help other people who feel like a victim. And that's the shift. That's the shift. That's the learning that I can make that choice. And then there's really a letting go. I could have there's a lot of things I could have held on to. And I'm going to share some of those deep energies right now, those experiences really. When my daughter was 15 or 16 years old, so I ended up divorced after 25 years in a marriage that I really thought was forever. I was very traditional, not religious, but just very committed. I was very committed to my jobs. I've been very committed to my partnership. I was very committed to the idea that marriage is a sacred vow. And when all these things started changing for me, this is the story I shared in the book called Phoenix. You can go on Amazon right now and just look up Phoenix. It's a purple cover. I have it somewhere here, but it's buried in one of these books on bookshelves. But look up, actually, this is fun because if you tell your story, you can do this too. Go to Amazon and put my name in. That, okay? That part. Right? Okay. So here's some of the fun things that you get from sharing your story, from sharing your truth, from sharing your 3 steps of things, by sharing your expertise, that you can go to Amazon, one of the biggest platforms in the world. Okay, this is the fun stuff that I'm sharing, and you can put your name in there, and you have a credibility that is going to show up on Amazon. You can Google your name oftentimes too. The more SEO you build, and books is a way to build SEO, and I've got tons of other ideas of how to build SEO. Search optimization, for those of you that are like, what the heck is SEO? I've heard of it and I'm in business. I was there once too, so no harm, no foul, right? I'm just learning what it means. But there are really ways to do that. But yeah, so my daughter was 15, 16. She texted me. I had just taught a yoga class. That was my zone of genius, man, being on the yoga room floor. Like, I'm telling you a story right now, and I'm exempling because you're going to relate to me. And this is how people really want to relate to you. This is really who we came here to be as humans, relatable, right? I get it. I don't know what you went through, but I get it emotionally because I can feel it in your story. I can feel it in your words. And so I'm coming out of this 65 room class of leading people to their most authentic self through yoga, through the journey to self. And I got this text that says, I'm moving in with dad full time. And I was like, rage, anger, like, wait. We were on for any of you who have ever been divorced, we were on the share plan. Some of you don't have the share plan. I'm not going to say one is better than the other. I'm going to say when the share plan came to me through a subpoena in a court document, I was pissed because I had been with my daughters all of their life. And I just couldn't see any further than I was taking offense to it. It took me a little while to get through that, maybe a couple 6 months, right? Practice every day, practicing like this isn't about you. Look, they've got a new mom that couldn't have kids. Like, I tried to, I worked on choosing to see the positive aspects of this experience. So then after the shared plan, and then she's like, I'm going over here all the time. And I was like, oh, and 15-minute pity party. I was used to that because I had seen a psychologist, or I don't remember what she was. Maybe she was a counselor. Nice lady. And that's what she said. 15-minute pity parties. Set a timer. Scream, cry, misbehave in your own way, 15 minutes, and then get out of it, because otherwise you're just choosing, So I had that, and I was like, it didn't even last 15 minutes. I let my anger come up. I acknowledged it. And then I heard that still small voice in the back of my head. This isn't about you. This is about her. Now, thank goodness I had been practicing every day to understand that human beings that we love the most aren't making choices to piss us off. They're making choices to learn something for themselves. But I was mad. I was hurt, and I could have taken that to the grave, which many of us are doing. We're taking our anger and our bitterness and our lack of self-worth and our embarrassments and our shame and our victimness to the grave. But I had already written my story. I already knew. I had already shared and been able to look at it like, wait. After I shared my divorce, my 25-year forever, I had been 5 years divorced by the time. Thought I was clean and clear. But as Irina was saying, whole nother level of clean and clear after you write it out. Anyway, so I was able to give her an opportunity to learn how to make choices at 16. You know what I later revealed as I was going through my own story? When I had children, that's what I wanted, independent children. So, if I would have made her feel guilt and shame for that decision, I would have just been shooting myself in the foot of what I really wanted to create a welcome space for these two girls that came into my life through my womb, to be independent, to feel confident and comfortable in making their own decisions. Or I could have been the you-know-what of a mom, and I could have felt the shame and passed on the shame through the cords and the guilt and the bitterness. But that's what sharing the story did, right? It revealed more to me, like, wait, after I kept hearing it and watching, I was like, she's just doing what I wanted for my children. She's becoming independent. She's gaining and gleaning confidence in her own life by making her own decisions. Well, was it a good or bad decision? Not my call. what was later revealed to her after 2 years of living with her dad full time. And she got a bonus car as soon as she moved in over there full time, by the way. Okay, so who knows what was really going on there. 2 years later, it got taken away from her. 2 years later, she got to learn more about her father, right? 2 years later, anyway, I don't know what point I was making, but storytelling helps us understand. We see the story outside of us. We let go of the victimness. We let go of the shame. We let go, and we can actually see that this is really what I wanted anyway. This is really what I was hoping. I am actually the person I thought I was. Sometimes you get that kind of enlightenment, huh, Irina?
Totally.
You're like, oh, I really do know my stuff. But this is, these are the revelations of stories, and some of us die with those, the story that we created, stories that we create in our own head because we never allow them a time to be seen outside of us. And if there's anything I know I came here to do from an impact perspective is to help people reveal their story. So when they do transition, they can do so from a place of clarity and softness and authenticity instead of from a place of shame or guilt or betrayal. And even since that word came out, one thing I found, when in doubt, write it out. I was in a mastermind in February in Southern California with my business mentor, and we were going through some things. And what I revealed to myself through writing is betrayal is an invitation to evolve. I know. So what betrayal in your life? Where can you see betrayal in your life? And where is it asking you to evolve? And what's the first step? Write it. Get it outside of you where you can look at it and you can study it if you want to. And you can witness it. That's the word. That's why. So the big part of this call, I think, was about, how to share your story. Saying yes to sharing your story. Why say yes to sharing your story? So that you can live a more authentic and embodied life. If you want it in like 4 or 5 words, how many words? So you can live a more authentic and embodied life. That's 10 words. That is a guarantee. That is a promise, really, of what storytelling can do. Your story can do for you as just an impact maker, as a legacy leader, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a mom, as a guide. Imagine me as the mother of these 2 amazing daughters that I have, holding on to bitterness, holding on to the frequencies of betrayal. My kids would be hell on wheels. I'm not calling anybody out, but they would not. They're getting that unpure frequency through me. And if the answer is storytelling, to step outside of that, to sharing your story in a book like a collaborative book, like a Divine Love kind of thing, where everybody shares a little 3,000 word version of one of their biggest activations or embodiments or shameful, betraying moments. And if that really could be the answer to finding yourself in a fresh, new perspective, why would you say no? Because the whole world's going to see it? Amen. Hallelujah. The whole world's going to see, even your mom or your sister or your brother or your partner or your child. But what you're showing there is authenticity. What you're showing the world is you're not in it or of it. You are in it for impact. That you don't have to go transition or go to the grave with these parts of you hidden. So, yes, your story can become a book, it become a chapter, it can become a YouTube channel, a podcast episode, a speaking presentation. And really they all merge from this in the same formula. So if you have a podcast that you've been wanting to get off the ground, start first by writing your story, right? Choose the experience that's going to teach you how to create the arc of how to actually tap into the highs and the lows and the emotional aspects, the magnetic content. And why now? I'm going to let Irina answer that. Why now? Why is now the time?
Because tomorrow is not guaranteed. All we have is today. We have the present. And life is short to go on living in misery, to go on living guessing. And the greatest regret of the dying is the things they have not done, as opposed to the things that they did. So sharing your story now matters to heal yourself, to help heal others, to stop the lane of blame, victimhood, unworthiness with yourself, to not pass it on to children. Don't give them that legacy. Give them a legacy of authenticity, of authority, of speaking out, of fear, of pursuing your life and living truly. That's why sharing your story now is important.
It is. So and especially for those of you, like, show of hands in the comments, even though I can't see them right now, but especially for those of you that are feeling the emotional pull of wanting to see loving and lasting change. It's a you go first. And I know you can close your eyes and put your feet on the floor and take a deep breath and really see in your life, really ask yourself, are you really going first? Are you really exempling that change that we so desperately need in the world? That clearing, that, like, the legacy for your children, like Irina just spoke of. Are you prioritizing that? Are you prioritizing all the ways you shouldn't, or you can't, or you don't have time? Sure, I want to see loving and lasting change, but I don't have time to do my part. And I know that we're talking about storytelling, but this is how deeply impactful it has been for my life, and the perception, the lens, the actual community now that I surround myself with. We're changing the world. And I couldn't have told you that 6 years ago until I wrote my first story, because I was still in a place of pissed off betrayal. And don't tell everybody that, you spent 25 years building something for your partner to just go out on you. How disappointing. What was wrong with me? Like, I would just be another one hoping and wishing that somebody else would create loving and lasting change for me, because I'm not willing to step up and do it. I'm not willing to step up and do my share, play my part. It's important. Books are important. Sharing your story is so important. It's a vibrational shift that you can't feel or know until you've done it. And I'm always excited to reveal the passion in me. I'm witnessing me too. Let's be honest. I'm witnessing it too. Like, I've become such a devoted, committed soul for humanity's shift. And again, I'm going to bring this down, because the only reason I feel confident in standing in this is because I shared my story in 2020 in a book called Phoenix. Inspiring stories of women who rise from the ashes and find hope. That's why storytelling is important. That's why the time is now. And for my business owners out there, You want to attract your ideal clients, get to a deeper level of embodiment of what you offer, and you will feel this, the ease and fun. Gosh, there's so much more, I know. What else do we have here? We talked about the impact, right? You talked about the legacy. Legacy is important. It is what we're, you can look at it from what we're leaving behind, but how are we leaving the room different from the way that we stepped into it? That too is legacy. Legacy isn't only happening when you're gone. It's happening in the present moments that you're showing up in. And when you have the confidence after, again, it just keeps coming back to this. I wouldn't have had the confidence to say the things I'm saying to you right now if I wouldn't have put my story in one of these. I mean, all I can tell you right now is my truth, and why I feel like everybody who wants to create change, that wants to see change in their life, change in their business, change in their future, change in their family, change in their community, write your story. Share it. Get it outside of you. Clear yourself. Learn about yourself. Oh, what shifts when someone decides to become an author? Do you feel this? What shifts? Everything changes. I can't tell you, I can't pinpoint specifically because it really is different for everyone. It really, the truth is, okay, I'm going to land some truth. The truth is, after you've gotten all the shit that you've been holding on to out of your way, right, through the story, through the, we've got a powerful opportunity right now to share a story in a book called Reclaim Your Life, based on Irina's podcast. So you get a place in the book, you get a podcast interview, you get highlights, you really grow your visibility overnight. But something bigger is happening for you. You're finally letting go of this bottleneck in your life. This idea, this experience that's been holding you in a tight container. And once you pop the top, you realize that, oh my gosh, I see myself, I witness myself, and I witness that I can create, that I made it through, that I transformed, and now I can create from that transformation. What do we want people? So those of you that are on the fence, whatever fence you're on, who cares about my story? Or, I really want to feel what Mary's feeling right now. This is my reality too. Meet me anywhere in person that you can. This is who I be. Love every minute of who I get to be. But what do you need to know, right? What do you think, Irina, could be one thing that somebody that is on the fence, that is really let's just go right at the pitfall of their life, and they know that they have to do something radically different to change it?
Take the first step, take an action. If you were doing the same thing, expecting different results, the definition of insanity, as Einstein said it. So if you want to create different, do something different, do something to step out of your comfort zone. And all new authors go through the imposter syndrome. Who am I to share a story? My life is unremarkable and it's just very ordinary. It's only, how they say, you cannot see the label from inside the bottle. So you can't really see yourself until you take your story out on paper and see what you've written, see your ideas, the ideas that you shared. Sometimes you might question, how did I write that? Where these ideas are coming from? But yeah, all authors go through that. And once you do something a little bit uncomfortable, it becomes easier the next time, and you help build a foundation for yourself on how you can do so in not just in storytelling, but in other areas of your life. You can expand your living and your being in different ways that weren't previously obvious or seen, and it becomes easier for you to become more confident about everything that you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, confidence. I know that feels like an overused word, but imagine for a moment what it would be like, what it would feel like for you to be on the other side of that bottleneck, to be on the side where, you know what, the jig is up. I've told my story. It's out. Imagine what kind of energetic liberation that you're going to get in your body, because essentially we hold these things inside our energy body. They make us sick. They create disease, right? Imagine for a moment, and I'm going to speak to energy all the way, that your hips, maybe you have lower back pain, and that your lower back pain goes away when you finally have this revelation of sharing a really raw and real story of how you reclaimed your life, or writing the full book, for business owners, for those of you that are really looking for an easier way. And, I'm going to use those words, but to attract your ideal people, the people that get your transformation, the people that are willing to transform from your transformational tips, tricks, and takeaways. The level of richness that you expand into, or knowing, or really the idea of authenticity and conscious connection that you're able to create with people. I mean, I could go from the very basic why to, because let's just clean yourself, let's just clean you out, right? Let's just get it out, to the very highly evolved version of, look, once you write your story, once you share your book, once you reveal your truth, your expertise to yourself, once you look at it, you read it, you see it, you share it, it's like living in a brand new house. There are more doors and windows of opportunity that open for you, and you're confident enough, there's that word again, to say yes, because you've done it. The biggest part also is that, if you're looking for this experience, you get to do it with Irina and I. People that have done it before, that know how to create a space for your raw and real experience to be delivered and feel okay, right? And be held and be supported and be surrounded by others that understand, that can relate. And for those of you that don't have a business and you're like, I'm drawn to this anyway, look, I didn't have an online business. Guess what happened after I shared my first story? All of a sudden, I had a transformation. I had a transformational ideas. I had a 3-step thing. I had 3 non-negotiables that I'd been practicing for 15 years and didn't even realize it. I had a course. I mean, this is the wave of the future, truly. And I think I love to use this word, the lagniappe, the extra. That's a New Orleans word, a deep South, the lagniappe. Is you elevate to the top 2% population. You are categorized in a 2% of billions of people that had the confidence to share their story, to benefit humanity. That's a mic drop. I do have one over there on the corner, but I don't want to break it. Drive us home, Irina.
For people who like to learn more about Reclaim Your Life, the breaking that made you new, this is a new collaborative book we are creating with Mary. This is for people who had a wake-up call that suddenly changed trajectory of their life for the better, whether they realized however they were living wasn't working and they decided to change in physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual space. What was that wake-up call and what were the 3 biggest lessons you learned as a result? And we are calling in people who have experienced that, business owners, entrepreneurs, or if you don't even have a business, but you want to share your story because you overcome something that was maybe the dark night of the soul and you're looking to share what that medicine was for you. What did you learn as a result? So we are looking for contributors like that. And it's a collaborative process. It's a 3,000 word chapter. That's what we are looking for. And if you dreamed of becoming an author, this is how I started, because becoming an author was a dream of mine, and starting with a collaborative book is such an easy way to start that journey if you've been thinking about it. If writing a book seems huge, writing a collaborative book is easy because you're in a container with other people who are going through the same process, and it's easy to start and easy to be led and guided. And Mary has been an amazing guide for me in all of the books that we have done together, and even the solo book. I could not have wished for a better partner, a better guide, a better book publisher to guide you along that journey. So if you're curious, feel free to reach out, whether a DM or you can comment down on this video. We would love to connect with you. We would love to have you.
And it's spring right now. Spring won't be here forever. This is the invitation to go now, say yes. So it's April 7th, right? I would love to see your sacred yes come in the next 7 days, right? April 14th, right before tax day. In case you want to look at it on the calendar. 7 days to really think about it, to reach out, to get an idea. And maybe we'll have something special for you. We always have something special when you're wholeheartedly willing to declare, to put your foot down in your sacred yes and start sharing your life's journey as a gift. All right, the gift inside, just like Irina wrote her solo book, is a gift for humanity, so that those that need to hear it, those that are trying so desperately to get through what you've already come through, that part, that's why we're here. That's what we do. That's why I get out of bed. I want to witness that. So find a way to us. Find a way to, if you're interested, reach out to Irina or I. Will give you the link to the details. We also have a call coming up that may be a special invite. If you really want to learn more about this project, we have a call coming up on April the 13th. Look. So I'm going to shorten that. The 13th. Come to the call. Get all the details. How do you get the link to the call? Send me a message or send Irina a message or put in the comments, link to call. And we will get you on the call. You'll get to learn more about it. You'll get to feel your way through it. And if anything, you'll get to get back and you'll get to get in a room with us where we can cheer you on and hold you tight. Okay. We're not done. I think we're going to keep doing some videos. Maybe we'll come in with the top 10 reasons, really easy, of writing your story. Top 10 reasons, maybe 10 tips. Because you can do this. You can start this on your own. All right, Irina, thank you so much. We just went right into 40 minutes. It felt like it was 15 minutes.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay, bye for now, everyone. I can't wait to see. Link to call. Come into the Zoom call, learn all about it, be held, be supported, be loved.